Stop scrolling. A bunch of huge trades just happened across the league.
LA Clippers and 11-time All-Star James Harden out of LA by Thursday's NBA trade deadline.
And every move from Harden to Garland to Vucevic could reshape contenders and create new favorites overnight. Here are 8 breakdowns that unpack the Harden for Garland swap, the Celtics and Bulls moves, the Timberwolves salary gymnastics, the Giannis chase, and the real signals to watch before making any bold verdicts. Chapter 1, Harden to Cleveland. The biggest headline is James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers in exchange for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. It felt almost inevitable once Harden's desire to leave became public, but the real story is less about the paperwork and more about whether this pairing can last. Harden remains one of the most prolific scorers and playmakers of his generation, but the last few stops in his career have been marked by blazing starts and then frictions that grow louder over time. That pattern is the first red flag and the first point of curiosity. Can Cleveland provide the structure, role clarity, and spacing? Harden needs to stay engaged and effective for more than a handful of months. The instant upside is obvious. Harden's offensive instincts change what a roster can achieve in a single offseason. Elite scoring, pick and roll mastery, and ball dominance that forces opponents to respond. Yet the questions pile up quickly. Who takes the heat and fourth quarter decisions now? How many touches will Harden get, and who willingly takes a step back? Cleveland is getting a high usage superstar, not a complimentary cog, and that always demands systemic concessions from coaching staff and teammates. If the Cavs can design an offense that leverages Harden without making teammates feel useless, this will look like a brilliant trade. If not, the honeymoon could be painfully short. Chapter 2, Garland to Clippers. On the flip side, Darius Garland to the Clippers plus a second rounder headed back to Los Angeles. Garland is a dynamic creator who can penetrate, generate looks for others, and play pick and roll at a high level. He's also proven to be a shot creator in late clock situations. Talent-wise, that's a fit for a team that needs playmaking and ball movement at crunch time, but the sticking point will be how he fits in with the rest of the team. The Clippers have an identity centered on ball screens, wing creators, and heavy two-man actions with their stars. Does Garland's game slide into that machine seamlessly, or will it create new problems? This trade feels like a gamble on renewal for both sides. The Clippers get a younger, less controversial initiator who might stabilize the offense. The Cavs get a player who at his best is a young star with huge upside. But the test comes down to minutes distribution, who initiates late possessions, and what defensive responsibilities Garland will accept in a rotation likely anchored by other established wings. If LA can use Garland to improve their offense while still being defensively decent, this could be a tidy upgrade. If roles overlap too much, the smoothness of their offense could take a hit. Survey Chapter 3, Celtics Vucevic move. Meanwhile, the Celtics reportedly added Nikola Vucevic from the Bulls in a deal involving Anthony Simons. Vucevic offers a veteran interior scorer and rebounder, a stabilizing presence after Boston moved on from Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis. On paper, it answers a need: center production, a reliable mid-range, and post touches. But the trade also raises some concerns. Did the Celtics give up too much to make the move happen? Vucevic's addition affects spacing, pick and roll dynamics, and how wings attack the paint. It also alters defensive matchups against elite front courts. For Chicago, receiving Simons changes their guard situation for the better. Simons is a younger, high upside scorer who can create and stretch the floor. The Bulls suddenly have depth at guard and must decide whether to redistribute minutes, package pieces for further moves, or pivot to a radically different rotation. Depth is valuable, but it can also force tough decisions about veteran minutes and team chemistry. Chapter 4, Bulls guard shuffle. The Bulls now face the classic dilemma of acquiring backcourt talent. Do you keep collecting creators and hope rotation minutes sort themselves out, or do you trade away assets to balance roles and salaries? Having Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. entering the mix, or potentially moving parts to the Pistons and Wolves, creates both flexibility and friction. When teams become guard rich, the temptation to operate faster and force more dynamic pick and rolls grows, but defensive cohesion and role clarity can suffer. Expect Chicago to either leverage their depth into another high impact swap, or to accept some lineup inefficiencies in the short term while they find an identity. Chapter 5, Timberwolves maneuvering. The Timberwolves played a quieter but consequential role in a 3-team dance, moving pieces like Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric while clearing salary to create room. The likely objective: positioning to make a serious run at a superstar, with Giannis Antetokounmpo repeatedly rumored as the target. The precedent of major trades demanding significant draft capital, like the Jaren Jackson Jr. exchange that fetched 3 picks, suggests the cost to acquire an all-time level talent will be steep. Wolves aren't alone in this scramble. Teams across the league are recalibrating assets, waiting to see who commits the draft capital and which contender will be bold enough to propose the package Giannis' team would entertain. That chase creates cascade effects. If the Timberwolves become an aggressive suitor, other teams must either chase or manufacture their own paths to contention. The fever around a potential Giannis move has teams flipping books and rearranging rosters, not necessarily because they will land him, but because they must be positioned to make a plausible offer. Chapter 6. Trade dynamics. Across the league, one trade begets another, and sometimes teams trade simply to be ready for an opportunity that never crystallizes. There's a nightmare scenario where Giannis stays put, and teams that whittled away depth or moved core rotation pieces end up with less while missing the prize. That's the high-risk side of deadline maneuvers. Front offices must balance the immediate need to improve with long-term preservation of assets. The market also shifts expectations. If teams like the Bucks ask for multiple first-round picks to even start negotiations, that raises the bar for every suitor. Teams will decide whether to go all in and mortgage the future, or to consolidate and try to improve incrementally. For the fan base, the constant rumor churn can feel like whiplash, immense hope one day, crushing disappointment the next. The important tactical takeaway is this: a single trade that looks brilliant on paper can fail in practice if the human and tactical elements aren't accounted for. Chapter 7. Chemistry and rotations. The intangible that always matters most is chemistry. Talent is necessary, but not sufficient. Star acquisitions change rotations, shrink or expand roles, and alter decision-making in late-game scenarios. Coaches must balance time-tested systems with the bespoke talents of new additions. Will Harden differ or demand the ball late? Will Garland be comfortable running as an off-ball threat, or does he need the ball to click? How do Vucevic screens and post-ups integrate with wings who prefer perimeter attacks? From an analytical standpoint, the early metrics that tell the story are straightforward. Usage rate, assist percentage, effective field goal percentage, on-off splits, and lineup net ratings. If a new player improves overall offensive efficiency without destroying the team defense, that's a promising sign. If offensive gains come with defensive holes, coaching adjustments will be necessary, either schematic changes or personnel shifts. The first 10 games after a major change are a revealing sample. Look for fewer forced isolations, better movement, and clearer passing lanes as indicators of genuine progress versus temporary sparks. Chapter 8. How to watch. For fans trying to parse the noise, pick a short list of metrics and stick to them. Track usage, assist rate, on-off differential, and effective field goal percentage for the first 10 games of any team involved in a substantial swap. Watch how late game possessions are assigned, outward who takes the shot, and who makes the final reads. Pay attention to subtle defensive signs like rotation timing, help defense, and contested shot rates. Those are the practical signals that tell you whether a trade is translating to real advantage on the court. It's also crucial to keep perspective. Headlines are designed to provoke immediate reactions, but the actual measure of success is wins and losses over weeks, not tweets. Teams that manage the human side, veteran leadership, clear role definitions, and coaching discipline tend to outperform those that simply chase headline talent. Front offices need contingency plans if a move doesn't work, and coaches need explicit, drillable tasks to speed integration. So where does that leave us? Harden's arrival in Cleveland could be transformative if the Cavs engineer role clarity and protect chemistry. The Clippers' acquisition of Garland could stabilize their offense, or create redundancy depending on rotation choices. The Celtics' Vucevic deal fills a clear need, but must be measured against what was given up. The Bulls' guard collection is a position of strength that requires decisive roster planning, and the Timberwolves' maneuvering signals big picture ambitions that could reshape the free agent and trade landscape if they go after a player of Giannis' caliber. The prevailing theme across every move is uncertainty, but not the aimless kinds. This is calculated uncertainty, with front offices balancing asset preservation, win-now urgency, and the inherent chaos of human dynamics on teams. If you're a fan of a team involved, brace for a noisy 10 days and then watch the on-court product. If you're a neutral observer, enjoy the spectacle and track those early metrics to separate signal from headline noise. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like this one right here. It's definitely something you'll be interested in. Click it now.